As we get closer to the final vote count, the Biden team is already prepping the stage for a primetime address. I'm Michael George with President Trump's strategy to challenge the votes.
How a fundraising campaign for an old Girl Scouts camp is repurposing political signs. Joplin and Jasper County officials say COVID-19 cases are rising rapidly.
The four states' most watched news starts now.
We could be close to finding out the winner of the presidential election in the coming hours as the number of outstanding ballots in key states continue to be processed. This is KOAM News at 5. Reporter Michael George is at Joe Biden's campaign headquarters in Wilmington, Delaware, with a look at the state of the race.
The vote margins are tightening in favor of Joe Biden after the former vice president narrowly surpassed President Trump in Pennsylvania and Georgia.
It is clear that the Biden-Harris ticket will win the White House.
Top Democrats are already celebrating, though prematurely, with the race still too close to call. This morning, Georgia's Secretary of State announced there will be a recount.
The focus for our office and for the county election officials for now remains on making sure that every legal vote is counted and recorded accurately.
Here in Delaware, we're seeing the Biden team prep the stage here for a primetime address tonight with former Vice President Biden and his running mate Kamala Harris. That'll happen if the race is called for the Biden-Harris ticket. Meanwhile, President Trump continues to make unsubstantiated claims of voter fraud, and he's vowed to fight the election results all the way up to the U.S. Supreme Court if he loses.
There's tremendous litigation going on, and this is a case where they're trying to steal an election.
The president's comments brought mixed reactions from Senate Republicans.
He made very, very serious allegations without any evidence to support it.
The president should fight hard.
As the vote counting continues, members of the Biden campaign are starting to put plans in place for a transition team. Michael George, CBS News, Wilmington, Delaware.
President Trump is still leading the vote count in the battleground state of North Carolina. CBS News has learned the Trump campaign will tap the president's advisor, David Bossie, to lead its litigation efforts in several states. Brings us to today's KOAM News Now Instapoll. Today's question is, how much are you following the ballot counting developments? A lot, some, or not at all? You can vote at KOAMNewsNow.com/vote or through the KOAM News Now mobile app. Results are updated live, and we're going to be checking in on them periodically through KOAM News at 5. We'll have the final results on KOAM News at 6. A group in Joplin is giving political signs a new purpose. Thousands of signs were put up around the four-state area for the campaigns. Now, with Election Day passed, some people are collecting them to use for a fundraising campaign to purchase Camp Mintehama, the Girl Scouts camp that was sold in 2019.
We would like anywhere from hundreds to 1,000. We are going to utilize those. And as some people might know, that Minahama was formerly a Girl Scout camp. So like good Girl Scouters, we are going to recycle and reuse.
Southwest Missouri Democrats today donated dozens of signs to the cause. Newton County Republicans have done the same. We're going to hear more about the need to keep signs out of landfills and the challenges of even recycling them tonight at 6. Doug Heddy joins us now. It's pretty nice temps as we head into the weekend, Doug.
Yeah, really all week has been fantastic. Plenty of sunshine, temperatures mainly into the 70s. We have a few mid and upper level clouds out there, but in general, it looks pretty good. The evening hours are going to be great. Nothing going on across the Central Plains. We do have our next storm system, which is brewing out across the western third of the country, and this will start to affect us early next week. But until then, I think we look pretty good. Most of us hanging out right around 70 degrees. We have the south winds kicking in at about 5 to 10. So through the evening hours, of course, we got some high school football tonight. We'll be mainly sitting into the 60s. Eventually by 10, we'll drop back into the upper 50s. And then I think an overnight low about 51, 52 degrees across most of the four-state area. We're going to look at the weekend and our next storm system here in just a bit.
All right, we'll see you soon. COVID-19 cases in Joplin and across Jasper County are on the rise. Joplin has 345 active cases. 274 of them appeared in the last 7 days. Jasper County has 322 active cases and reported 2 more deaths today. Mercy Hospital says it's seeing its highest number of COVID patients, hovering in the 40s. That's impacting wait times for patients in the ER. Health officials with Mercy say people need to wear masks and social distance as much as possible in order to stop hospitals from becoming overwhelmed.
The hospitals in our area are getting full. The hospitals in Springfield are full, and Kansas City and St. Louis are full. And so the people think that there's unlimited resources. There's not.
Freeman currently has 44 COVID-19 patients. Tonight at 6, we're going to share the concerns of one Joplin mother as numbers continue to climb. Up next in Health Watch, a look at rising cases all across the country.
America's coronavirus death toll could soon surpass 250,000. I'm Elise Preston with a look at the record-breaking surge of new cases.
And a little later, retail companies expect a surge in online shopping to lead to thousands of new jobs becoming available. The U.S. is beating its own record for coronavirus cases set just one day earlier, with nearly 122,000 cases reported yesterday. The Midwest is getting hit especially hard. Elise Preston reports.
UW Health in Madison, Wisconsin expanded its critical care space for COVID patients, and doctors say they may have to do it again.
Our numbers in Wisconsin are really pretty out of control. If anything, it looks like our curve will continue to move on a fast upward trajectory.
15 states broke single-day records for new COVID cases on Thursday, 7 of them in the Midwest. The U.S. tallied nearly 122,000, a new record.
It's a real pleasure to be with you today.
Speaking at a therapeutic summit, the nation's top infectious disease expert, Dr. Anthony Fauci, addressed the surge.
Deaths have remained stable around 700 to 1,000 per day in unacceptably high levels.
The CDC predicts the nation's death toll could reach more than 260,000 by the end of the month.
Susan Three Irons says her 17-year-old daughter Elvia is the youngest person in North Dakota to die from COVID complications. Both mother and daughter were hospitalized when Elvia's heart stopped.
I put the phone beside her. I told her I love her. Told her she could rest now and be at peace.
And an elections supervisor in Missouri who worked a 15-hour shift on Election Day died later that night. The older woman went to work despite testing positive for COVID-19 last Friday.
This election was important, sure, but it certainly wasn't worth her life, and it wasn't worth the safety of the voters.
Her coworkers were told to get tested and quarantine. Elise Preston, CBS News, New York.
The cause of death of that election supervisor is not yet known. Wearing a mask does not impact exercise performance or blood and muscle oxygen levels. That's according to Canadian researchers who looked at 14 healthy, active men and women who wore a 3-layer cloth mask while working out. People who suffer strokes while they have COVID-19 may be more likely to have greater disability. London researchers also found COVID patients who have a stroke also have a higher death rate. New CDC research suggests more people need to be aware of the signs and symptoms of stroke. Only about 2/3 of adults recognize the 5 warning signs and the need to call 911 immediately. Symptoms include sudden numbness or weakness of the face, arm, or leg, especially on one side. Confusion or trouble speaking, trouble seeing, trouble walking, dizziness, or loss of balance, and severe headache. Women working in the paid labor force may have slower decline in memory later in life compared to women who don't work for pay. That's according to a study in the journal Neurology. Researchers found this link regardless of whether a woman was single, married, or had children. We're going to check back in with our KOAM News Now Insta poll. Again, our question today is, how much are you following the ballot counting developments? At this point, 68% say a lot, 20% say some, 12% say not at all. You can join in the conversation by voting at KOAMnewsnow.com/vote or through the KOAM News Now mobile app. A little bit later, a deeper look at the latest unemployment numbers.
Rate drops, but job growth is slowing. I'm Nancy Chen with the latest employment numbers as we head into the holiday season.
Plus, the nice temperatures stick around the next couple days, but we do have some rain chances. We're going to look at that coming up. Well, another nice day all week long, and we've had fantastic weather, plenty of sunshine, temperatures great back into the 70s for us today, but we have dried out. We had quite a bit of rain last week. We haven't had any this week, of course. We're in the first week of November, so of course, none for November. And due to the rain last week, we're still about 3/4 of an inch above where we should be for 2020. But we've been drying out a little bit, so it's time to get a little bit of rain. We should get some in here by the time we head into next week. At least the temperatures look great. Mid-70s yesterday. We dropped back mid-50s last night. Mid-70s once again for us during the afternoon hours. Still very pleasant temps. We have Independence sitting at 71, 71 Bonita, Pitt, much of the same. Miami 72, 70 in Neosho. Nevada is sitting at 71 degrees. We got these south winds, kind of light. At about 5 to 10, these winds are going to pick up just a little bit by the time we head into the daytime hours tomorrow. Really both days, Saturday and Sunday. It's going to be a little breezy, but looks pretty good. So it's 5:15, kind of stinks. It's getting dark already, but looks great. Clear skies currently outside, 69 south winds, 5 to 10. Humidity is at 54%. We'll drop back through the 60s. So if you are heading out to any high school football games, it looks fine. Temperatures, not bad, clear skies, eventually down into the 50s. We'll drop back to about 52, 53 later on tonight. In general, clear skies, had a few little random mid and upper level clouds, but besides that, the entire Central Plains look great. Let's go out west. You can see the beginnings of our next storm system, which is brewing. You can see the little trough right out across the northern parts of California, up through the Pacific Northwest. Eventually, that will move in. We also have this wave to our south, which is kind of blocking the pattern up. So that's why it's going to take 2 or 3 days before it can rotate in. So let's go through tonight. We'll drop back into lower 50s, pretty much clear skies. Here's tomorrow morning. Let's go into Saturday afternoon. Looks great, mostly sunny skies. Maybe a notch or two cooler than what we saw today, but still fantastic. 51 to start. 67 by noon, high temp at 72. Now it is going to be a little windy. We're going to have those south winds at about 10 to 20. Tomorrow night looks fine. We'll see a few clouds across the region. We'll drop back into the upper 50s. Partly sunny skies on Sunday. There's a very slight chance there could be a random shower, but I really think most of us will stay dry as we go into the 70s once again for highs on Sunday. Let's go into Monday. Still the south winds. Storm system starts to develop out to the west. We'll have a lot more clouds across the region, and again, there's a very slight chance there could be a random shower, but there's going to be better chances Monday night into Tuesday morning. This system will pull by, will cool down a little bit for Wednesday, and then by Thursday, we get another system that will give us chances for rain, so the pattern picks up just a bit by next week. 72 tomorrow, 75 Sunday, Monday, 65 and dropping on Tuesday. 65 will be a morning high. We'll sit mainly into the 50s most of the day, so it will cool down a bit as we head into next week.
The weekend looking pretty nice.
Yeah, the weekend looks fantastic.
Thanks, Doug. Habitat for Humanity has a new storage building to use while helping families in need have a new home. Area high school students taking a construction class at Crowder College built the storage building, which was designed by the organization and teachers. The building will be used to store property from houses while Habitat is working on them.
And this is just the first subject that we're working on. And I've actually done construction before with a buddy of mine, and it's been fun.
The students had been working on the storage building for about a year. Coming up, how one of the companies developing a potential coronavirus vaccine plans to distribute the drug to countries. First, though, we honor a local veteran. L.M. Essex was stationed in Europe during World War II and helped liberate prisoner of war camps. His hometown, Miami, Oklahoma. And we salute Corporal L.M. Essex, a four-state hero. To learn about other heroes or to submit a hero of your own anytime, all you have to do is go to KOAMnewsnow.com. With COVID-19 cases on the rise, U.S. employers slowed their hiring in October. Reporter Nancy Chen has a look at the latest snapshot of the labor market.
Sean Wilson has waited tables for 17 years.
But with Chicago once again banning indoor dining, he joins the millions of Americans without a steady paycheck.
I took satisfaction. I took a certain amount of pride in being able to provide for my kids. Now that's in question.
As the coronavirus surges across the nation, job growth slowed in October, with employers adding 638,000 jobs. And while the unemployment rate dropped from 7.9 to 6.9%, CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger says the recovery has slowed.
We lost 22 million jobs between March and April. Since then, we've gained back more than half of them. But what we've been seeing is for the last 6 months, the pace of increase is starting to decelerate. At the state level, without additional stimulus, many of the nation's largest states will be forced to lay off workers.
One bright spot in the labor picture could be in retail. Companies are preparing for a surge in internet shopping as we head closer to the holidays. Amazon has been adding jobs throughout the pandemic and is now hiring 100,000 new workers.
We know that the pandemic has hit our local communities very hard, so we're proud to offer thousands of jobs to our local communities where people can provide for their families.
Target and Walmart are also staffing up for the holidays, as well as both UPS and FedEx, which are preparing to ship billions of packages around the world. But as we head into the holidays, many Americans are facing hardship. More than 3.5 million have been jobless for more than 6 months. Nancy Chen, CBS News, New York.
Wall Street did not show a dramatic reaction to the job numbers, the stock market pausing its week-long rally as investors wait for news on the election. The Federal Reserve says the economy remains well below pre-pandemic levels. With that backdrop, policymakers decided to keep its benchmark interest rate near zero. The Fed also noted that the current health crisis will continue to weigh on economic activity and employment in the medium term. AstraZeneca says it hopes to demonstrate the efficacy of its coronavirus vaccine by the end of the year and is ramping up manufacturing to distribute millions of doses beginning in January. It's currently in late-stage trials here in the U.S. and in the U.K. The company says it plans to supply the vaccine initially on a non-profit basis to developing countries and lower cost to wealthy countries. Gasoline prices continue to fall. According to AAA, the nation's average now sits below $2.13 a gallon. And more than half of the 140,000 stations across our country are selling gasoline for less than $2. Prices have been falling with consumption down due to millions of Americans out of work and millions working from home. Final check of the forecast next. The CBS Evening News is next. Then on KOAM News at 6, we're going to hear from a Joplin mother concerned with rising coronavirus cases in the city. Plus, Crowder College students will now have an easier time transferring to Cotty College thanks to a new partnership. And we're going to hear from the Fort Scott High School football coach as the Tigers look to remain undefeated tonight. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Let's take another quick look at our KOAM News Now Insta poll. Again, we're asking how much are you following the ballot counting developments? So far, 69% say a lot, 19% say some, 12% say not at all. You still have time to vote at KOAMNewsNow.com/vote or through the KOAM News Now mobile app. We're going to have the final results on the poll on KOAM News at 6. Checking back in with Doug Hetty. Nice way to end the work week.
It really is. It's going to be a great evening. Of course, we got some high school football for us tonight. Temperatures are going to be great as we sit into the 60s. 72 tomorrow, plenty of sunshine, 75 on Sunday. Only downfall over the weekend is it's going to be a little windy. It's not going to be extremely windy, but it's going to be breezy. And then rain chances increase, especially early next week.
Thanks for joining us. CBS Evening News is next. Of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. In the meantime, let's take care of ourselves and each other.